Hi everybody, this is my second voiceover. I hope this one will work. So today I do my first on the edge die cutting, and it's also my first die cutting on the edge of the plate of my big shot, and not only the edge of the card. So that is why I have to do a little try before. This is what I showed you earlier. And it took some minutes to do it clear in my head, or have it clear in my head, but then it's very easy. So it's like this. You took the first plate of your big shot or die cutting machine, then you put the cardstock, so nearly in the half, on this plate on the edge, and your die also on the edge. So I had some struggles to think which side I will die cut now, but take some minutes or seconds, and then you will have it, and then it's very easy. So after die cutting, you only need to use your scoreboard, and I do a folded left and right from this frame. It's a frame from Create a Smile, which I like very much. And in the middle of the frame, this part I cut out with my X-Acto knife. And yes, this was the whole magic of this card. So bye-bye. No, it was a joke. So yes, I have my top of the card, and now I need the right measure. And for this, I take an envelope and mark the right part with a pencil, and then I cut it with my normal cutting machine. So it's the easiest way for me. Maybe you can think about it before, so you will find the exact middle of the cardstock, but I am too lazy for that. So I cut out a second frame for my card. And yes, but first I will do the background. Because of the second frame, I want to leave the first one clear too. When I'm using these black water drops now, I took my Kurosawa watercolors and just drop some waters on the card. Very easy. And then I put it aside to let it dry, and while it's drying, I do my coloring. I don't know why, but in most of my videos, or in a lot of videos, I'm using these popping over stamp set from Create a Smile. Yes, it's so versatile and sweet, of course. So today, yeah, I'm showing you my Copic color combinations. I do this not so often, sorry for that. And I'm starting with 3 brown Copics and coloring my beer as usual. And in the second round, I use darker brown. I don't know why I do not using this in the first round. Oh yes, it's an E49, but my camera didn't want to see it, and I forgot to cut it out of this video. Sorry for that. Yeah, it's E49. We got it. So yes, but doing this dark brown in the first layer, I don't know why, but I have some struggles with that, so I only do this in the second layer. And for the paws, is this the right word? In German, it's Pfötchen. It's a very tiny Pfote. I don't know why I took a pink, because yes, this parts which are stamped black are usually pink, on paws from cats, maybe. And yes, so I had that little mistake in my head, so I mixed it up with a little bit brown again. Now I come to this Foxy. I'm using like I used at the beer, in this case 3 orange Copics, but at the final this color contrast is not enough for me, so I usually, when I'm coloring foxes, adding some red. In this case, it's a R646, I think. It's one of my first Copics. And if you're wondering why some of my Copics are black, I started with Copic collection with my copy collection, with I think it was a anniversary set I got, and then I added some more copics, and later somebody said, "Oh, some of your copics are black," and I said, "Oh yes, you are right." I didn't recognize it. So yes, I have very exclusive birthday copics. Yes, I finished my coloring, and now, oh no, the face is missing. Yes, with these light E's I have some struggles, because they are all the same in my imagination. So this is, now you can see me finding a dark E, so a dark light E. Yes, and yes, I found it in a E42, but it could have been darker. Yes, at the end I'm adding some white highlights with my gel pen on the face of the beer, and of course at my little foxy. Yes, this was the coloring, and now what I'm doing now? Oh yes, I'm doing the foam tape for my second frame. I cut this on my cutting mat, and in the most of the times it works like this, and in I think 4% and 4 times of 100 my foam tape strikes on the cutting mat, and yes, but in this case everything works good. And yes, now I'm thinking about where to put these little images, and I'm so glad that I choose to put this foxy on the card, because to have these orange highlight there is, I think, very good for the card. By the way, at the beginning I'm not so sure if I will like the result of the card. I was frightened that it's gonna be a little bit boring maybe, but at the end I was so happy. Yes, and happy is my next thing to stamp. I sometimes stamp my sentiments when I'm using these colored cardstock thing more than one time, because at the end I can choose which one was the best, and in this case this one in the middle, because some parts getting a little bit darker or brighter, smaller, and this in the middle was the most equal stamp result. Yes, I cut it out with my little tiny scissors and cut it more tinier with my fingers, which are not so tiny. Yeah, and also took some foam tape for adding these happy, and I first stamped the birthday on the card before putting this frame on it, because I thought maybe I can get some struggles. Oh, yes, with my acrylic block. Maybe the foam from this frame could be too high. Yes, my little foxy gets a double foam for me. And now these little paws. I just added with some roller tape. It's from a cheap drugstore. It's very cheap, from drugstore in Germany. And yes, using your foam tape, your tape runner, I think it's very fast, kind of gluing things on your card, because it do not need to dry. Yes, and at the beer I missed somebody, so I took these very strong foil, but it's clear. I mostly use this for doing my own stencils or doing some elements in a pop-up card. Here you can see it very clear. And I put it at the back of the card, on the back side. In this case, yes, the back side from the card is not the prettiest, but you have the highlights in the front. It's like Fukuhila, party in the front and no, business in the front, party in the back. We do it the other way around. So, now these little beer get some paws. Is paws the right word? I hope so. Pfötchen. The German word. Pfote, it's one, and Pfötchen is a tiny Pfote. So, learning in German with Burka. Now I'm adding some more highlights, and I'm so glad I had enough from these Create a Smile enamel dots, because as you can see on this sheets, there are only these orange arrows there. And I searched my drawer a second time, and then I found this one, a third sheet, so I can add some round enamel dots, or just enamel dots. Yes, and I think this is nearly the... yes, this is the finish of a card. We have some seconds more for the end of the video. And oh, yes, as I told you, it's party in the front of the card, and not so beautiful at the backside. But yeah, I think this card is so funny. I like this so much. And yes, I'm happy that it turned out like this, because I was not so happy at the beginning of the video. So thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. See you next time. Bye.